Just look at the clock over your head there. Yeah.
Well, that's a new camera.
Yeah, new screen. We do an upgrade.
Yes. Yeah, so
The whole program.
this is called the OWL, right in front of it, and it has a camera microphone in it that moves. And so it can show up to 3 people at a time. It's pretty sensitive. So if you're talking and you're in the room, it's gonna look for you. So if you get the side conversations going on, it's gonna grab that. It'll show all 3 talking at once.
I see why they call it the owl.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I just picked it up.
When you turn it on, it even hoots at you.
Director Miller, say something. Come on, so we can see you on the screen here.
That is absolutely crazy.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
If there's anybody.
Matt, you gotta test it out too.
He'll break it. Oh, no, not, I thought, wrong Matt.
No, Matt. Matt Day needs to talk so we can test it out, make sure you can see him.
Didn't like you.
There you are.
Yeah, so initially it takes it a little bit to like calibrate, because it has to figure out where people are.
Yeah.
But now that it's got you.
That's be crazy. Oh, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Yeah, yeah. Look at that. John, is this all it would have taken?
She says she
All right.
can't see, so we have to like.
Do we want to see the screen where we can see who's on here?
That's what we were just looking
Okay.
at. So go back to the participants. Have to get her in.
That's to allow her to talk.
Okay, you ready? Hey, Sarah.
All right.
She's a great white hunter.
Interesting. She says she can't get into the meeting. Isn't there usually a waiting room?
If you go up to her name and right click on it, well, actually allow to talk, then there's the 3 little dots next to it. Yeah, she's on and she should be able to hear.
Okay. Okay. Maybe it just.
That's
Yeah. That was it.
That's a pretty cool new toy.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I remember on video.
That's why we did it.
Okay, she's good.
Good. All right, let's call the meeting to order. Call this meeting to order per ORS 192.610 to 192.690, 1801. And this meeting's being recorded per ORS 192.650, and there'll be a copy on the website soon. So we've got Bill here for.
Let me just say it's good to be here with you. We'll have a quick moment of prayer. God, we humbly bow before you and we acknowledge that you are the creator of all things and you are in control of everything in our life, the good, the bad, the happy stuff, the sad stuff, everything, God. So let us be thankful for all of the things that you do for us. When I think about this group here tonight, God, I just pray that you would give them wisdom. I pray that you would give them the words and the thoughts even, God, that you would just have them look towards the common good, that if they have some kind of personal agenda, they'd let it just be gone and work towards short-term and long-term good for the people of this area. So God, we pray for safety for the firefighters and all the medic people and all the support staff. Pray that you'd be encouraging each one of them and be with them on calls, that they would be safe. Pray that they'd have all the training they need to keep them safe. We all know that training is so important, especially for the younger people that are coming on board. They have all this energy that And we need to be able to direct that. So I pray that this group would be up to the task, that God, you would be with them at every step of the way. So we give you all the praise and glory, and we pray to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Flag salute. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call. Director Miller,
Here,
Director Day,
Here.
Director McAdoo,
here.
Director Silva,
Present.
Oliver Shear. Okay, do we have any changes to the agenda?
I would like to add one thing. I'm gonna talk about security cameras. We used to have them, they're still up, but we don't have them, online.
Still show up on the TV back here and over in the station.
Did you get them up?
Get them up.
When did you?
They never went down.
They,
Yeah, they're there.
I heard they were down. One thing, we used to have a little video screen right there in the corner where you go up the hallway. So if somebody remember that?
If it's still
If
there.
somebody rang the bell up front, the guys could look up, they could see what's up front, what was going on in the back, the side. So if they're going, why don't we bring that screen back?
No, they're on the screen. If you go back here, there's a screen. There's one over there in the station.
When did that show up?
It's been there as long as I've been here.
Well, there's not one up in the corner. That's the one that used to be.
Are you talking about
Up about where the table, we got the table in the middle, it's up in
Yeah.
the right corner.
Yeah, where you go up the hallway, the door where the hallway is.
right?
There used to be a screen sitting there. The clock
Oh,
on
a
this
different
took it
screen?
down.
Yeah. No, not that one. There's one in the lieutenant's office. There's one back here, but
So if anybody was sitting around the table and you could look up and see what was going on all the time. The clock must took that down, so that was pretty handy. Somebody ring the front doorbell, the guys could look up there and see what was there right away, so.
Okay.
If that's something you'd be interested in doing, I myself think that was pretty handy, but otherwise you don't have to run into an office or something. If the security.
if somebody's at the front door, we just go to the front door.
So they ring a bell.
So when they rang the bell, you could look at that camera there. If they were bad guys, you could get your guns ready.
They don't allow guns on the
That's only
property,
when you're in the station.
John, except for you.
All right. Anybody else?
Okay, thanks for that update. I didn't
Yeah.
know, we've been talking about that off and on, and I didn't know the security cameras were on.
Walk back around the corner and see one of them. See one screen.
I know that, and that's the ones that, on the outside of the building. Right? Yeah, I know the cameras were there. They never went away, but
Right.
I thought the system was. But think about it, Chief. Think about putting that little video screen up there. That was really handy. Guys are interested. Sitting around the table, the doorbell rang, you looked up there and see who was out front. Anyhow, that's all. That was my, I guess we've talked about it, so we don't.
Yeah. We changed the agenda. I think we're gonna figure it out now.
Got to figure it out.
Anybody else on the board?
Thank you.
No. The only thing I got is when we talk about the strategic plan, we'll talk about SDAO consulting while we're doing that.
Okay.
Okay, that's the only thing I got. Okay, so business items, consent agenda. Accept and approve the February 16th meeting minutes and the bills.
Everyone got an updated check log.
Yeah,
I did need to add one voided check. Thank you for catching. There was an old invoice that got paid out on the Cascade Mechanical one. And then there is a potential board conflict if you.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as written.
I'll second it.
Okay. Broke my leg. Okay, any comments? No? So we'll go around. Dr. Miller,
Yes.
Director Day,
Yes.
Director Silva,
Yes.
Director McAdoo,
Yes,
and I'm a yes. Okay. Moving on, Station Subcommittee.
Yeah, so put out a doodle poll, trying to come up with some dates and times that work for all 7 of us to get together. I don't think I've gotten that back from everybody yet, but it's probably gonna be one of those where we just kind of have to throw out and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do. If you can't make it, then, see about getting somebody in your place, but that's as far as we are with that for this meeting.
Printed you out a couple sets of drawings.
Yeah, so
You got that, okay.
So part of that might have been my fault. I didn't see your email on my phone and it doesn't go to my office email, so I probably need to get somebody with forward into my computer, so I'm seeing those a little more often, but I didn't respond to it, and then when I did try to respond, it was already too late, so my apologies.
do I need to resend to you, or?
Well, I got it, but from what I saw, the dates that were available already passed.
I'll send it back out to you, because it went for like 6 weeks out, trying to find some common times, so it shouldn't be expired.
One of the things that I have the SDK to do is to send all correspondence both to my Portland email and my SDK. And so when I see it in Portland, I just delete it and then I open the SDK on my iPhone and then I respond.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I'm
So
forwarding it from
it's,
my phone to my work email, so I can
no,
actually read it.
they can send it to both and then you just use your personal to respond.
Who would we get to with that? The IT to change the email?
No, she would just add it to the board of director email list.
Yeah, she could do it.
I'll take care of it.
Perfect.
She'll probably have it done before the meeting's over.
I get both. I get it on my personal and the fire department.
Right, that way you know that.
Yeah, I'm on top right now.
I've got them all in my Outlook, so I only need it to come to the SDK one on mine.
Hmm.
I just have a list of email fields in my Outlook. Oh, anyway. All right. We're good with the subcommittee. Strategic plan. Chief, tell us, do you have any updates on whether we should do it or not?
Well, no, because you've got a proposal from
Yeah.
SDAO, so if we're gonna do that, then we don't want to move forward with the strategic plan.
Right, but I talked to George Dunkel today about his scope of work and all that, and Director Miller called me today about, a lot of these things in here relate to a strategic plan. George said that they can do what they're going to do here, but they don't get as in depth as a strategic plan would do. Okay,
With this,
with what they do.
but did you ask if they do
They do
strategic
not.
plans?
What they do is this,
Really?
pretty
Okay.
much this.
Don't they do strategic plans too?
Yeah, well, if you read the scope, it's kind of like a strategic plan. They're gonna come in and interview us and, go through our operations and everything. But they're not gonna actually write a strategic plan. They're just gonna give a report of what they found.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if we can't take the information that they collect and craft a strategic plan.
Well, that's what I'm kind of thinking. We take this, what they collect, and then we should, I feel, compare this to our last strategic plan and see what the differences are. And see if we want to make up that difference. If this is 3/4 of a strategic plan, then what does the other 25% look like? And can we do it? And how much time would it take? And who would have to do that? We don't really want Chief taking his time to do it. We don't want to bog him down. But when I was reading that today, I was like, man, this is down that same line of a strategic plan. So it doesn't make sense to do this and a strategic plan.
Or necessarily do a strategic plan yet. Maybe doing this will give us enough direction.
But that's the question
For
we have
another
to ask
year or
chief,
so.
if that's enough direction for him,
Right.
if it satisfies what he's looking for.
So there's a couple of things about the proposal, and I don't know if you saw my email I sent. out.
Yeah.
I saw it.
The scope of work and it's what standards are they gonna apply it to? Is it just this guy's opinion? Does it actually have something behind it? There's a financial piece to that, and we already get that from the auditor. Do we want to double up on that? I kind of think that's going down a sketchy road there.
It potentially is, but it would be nice to have another set of eyes look at that from a different opinion.
There is
That
that,
doesn't mean we have to listen to that part of it.
right? But you can see where that can take you sideways if they make a recommendation, you don't do it, you're following this one, something goes wrong over here. So you're splitting path, so which one you go down?
So one of the things that is a little bit concerning for me is George Dunkel has done a bunch of our stuff. And I think we should have a fresh set of eyes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's got
So-
other people. I'm just
Okay.
talking to George.
Yeah,
He's
I
got- he's
prefer,
got people.
I prefer if he doesn't do it
Yeah.
this time and we get a different set of
You
eyes.
bet. You bet.
I think their scope of work is a little too broad. I think they need to narrow that down a little bit, and what exactly it is they're trying to accomplish with this, because it's pretty vague. I mean, yeah, we're gonna look at these areas, but compared to what, so.
Maybe we should have, not George, but he talked about the guy who's in charge of that. I can't remember his name. It's in the email, I think.
Maybe have him do a
Have
presentation.
him do a presentation to it.
Yeah,
And give us.
And answer questions.
So we can
yeah, yeah,
talk and
that
answer
makes,
questions.
that makes a lot of sense.
Now, the $6,000 that they would charge,
Says not to exceed.
not to exceed
Yeah.
6, and we get 8 hours off of that. Because we get 8 hours free from SDAO. The
Oh.
first 8 hours doesn't count. Now, I forgot to ask him how many hours, dollars per hour is 8 hours, but this doesn't, I don't think it talks about how many, doesn't break it down for how many dollars per hour it is, but I'll find that out. So it'll be less than 6,000 because we'll get 8 hours free. But it'll max out.
Director McAdoo's.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't read this whole document yet, but I just started briefly through it. I have a issue here on number 1, stakeholder input. The project team will conduct interviews with and gather information from key personnel. I think that should be all personnel. I think we should talk to all of our personnel, get different, we might find out good stuff, we might find out weaknesses.
That was part of one of the things I would have picked out in there is that it's key. It really needs to be all encompassing for that reason. And that's where I think they're being too broad. I think they need to narrow it down. What is it you're actually gonna try to accomplish out of this?
Sure.
So why don't you set up, where we can have them on Zoom and then we can ask them questions and let them give a presentation.
Do that at the next board meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I will do that.
Thanks for looking into it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, we're almost 2 years old now. To have somebody come in and see how we're doing. Things we can work on. Okay, B4 budget.
2 items in there, one for budget committee member appointments. That's all.
Want to go? Want me to go?
Yeah, doesn't matter. Go for it.
Matt and I interviewed 2 people last night. John Greenup and Alyssa Norton, and we felt that they have something to offer. So they're gonna be our 2 filled positions. So
John Greenup.
John Greenup, yep.
So you want to make a motion?
Alicia, yeah,
I believe Alicia, she said she worked here for
yeah,
a
she,
month or a couple months or something, so.
yeah. Yeah,
So I do know that we need to have a motion at the board.
well, yeah, but
Okay.
Matt and I's opinion that we can fill those positions with that.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt those 2
Okay.
candidates.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, so the motion on the floor is to adopt Alicia Norton.
Yep.
And John
And
Greenup
John Greenup.
as budget committee members, 3-year terms.
3-year term.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any comments? Discussion? Okay, go for the vote. Director McAdoo,
Yes.
Director Day,
Yes.
Director Miller,
Yes,
Director Silva,
Yes,
and all of us are yes. Okay. And then appoint a budget officer.
Yeah, so you need to appoint a budget officer for the upcoming budget process. Last year, that was me. I'm recommending that you appoint Nicole Meyer, finance officer, as the budget officer for this year's budget.
as a finance person.
Pardon me?
You guys have to do that.
Right, do we vote on that?
Yes.
Just like we just did, okay.
Did she know anything
Good
about
point.
budget?
I make a motion that we
I
appoint.
hope so.
John, she's sitting right behind you.
not
Careful.
ours, no, no.
Yeah.
I have
Got that
I have a
big-
question. So what's gonna be the big difference between last year and this year? And I guess I'll make a comment.
I know you are.
I really appreciated how you took us all aside and went through the budget, like.
Yeah, it's
kind of
still-
before the process.
Basically the same as last year. So while Nicole would be designated as that, I'm looking over her shoulder to duplicate what we did last year. So we'll sit down, we'll complete a budget or a draft, a proposal, we'll go through, we'll tweak it, we'll call everybody in like we did before, meet with you when you're available and go through it. So when we go to the actual budget committee meeting, it should be pretty simple.
Matthew, didn't you fulfill that spot during the first one with Abel,
With who?
with Abel? I mean, you were the one that ran the whole meeting that we
Yes.
had?
Yeah, so it opens and then you either can run it or you can then turn it over to the budget officer.
Okay, okay,
So it can go either direction.
okay.
So,
Typically, whoever you have as the budget officer will run that
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah,
for the
no, it
most
makes
part.
sense.
I think it's because Abel asked me if I could.
Yeah,
do it,
yeah,
right.
no, that's fine.
I would like to make a motion that we appoint Nicole Myers to the budget officer.
I second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Let's go for the vote. Director McAdoo,
Yes.
Director Day,
Yes.
Director Miller,
Yes,
Director Silva,
Yes,
Director Oliver is a yes.
that would have been ironic if I said no.
You make the motion, then you vote no.
Yeah.
That'd be all.
Then you make a motion to select him the budget officer.
There you go, yeah. Okay, what's up with the C8 radios, chief?
Yeah, C800 radio
Better.
group. Yeah, so we didn't meet last month. That's why there was no update there. This month we had a meeting yesterday and pretty much all revolved around their annual budget, putting that together. Their normal business, but since they start, the last several months, WACA, which is Washington County Communications, took over the C800 project management from the guy that used to do it that caused us all the grief that we have. So with that, we have a project manager that's got it together, is very thorough, much better reports, much better information. And we also have the CFO from WACA doing the budget this year for him. And he's finding all sorts of things that from the past, moving forward, we're obviously in a much better spot, but there's some weird things in there. I mean, what the cash carry forward was, how they came to those numbers, they can't figure it out. You know, from 2, 3, 4 years ago, they're just all sorts of weird discrepancies, and he's just up there kind of stumbling this. I don't know how they did it. I don't know, you know, he's struggling, and you could see he was trying to find out how they came to the numbers they did, but it wasn't there. So anyway, we have a budget or a proposed budget from them along with a 5-year forecast. And they pretty much got it squared away now, pending the lump sum payment we're gonna do after we get to the new fiscal year. They're still working on those numbers, trying to whittle that down. We're looking at a $55,000 payment to get us caught up on the Estacada end, which is actually, Estacada is in good shape. They've actually done a good job of paying that bill over time. Some agencies aren't so fortunate. That could be higher. It could be as much as 112,000, but they're kind of banking on ARPA money coming from the state, the sale of some 911 towers to another county. You know, there's things like that that aren't set in stone yet, but are looking like they're going to happen. But we are anticipating a final payment this next fiscal year for us of around 55,000. Just don't get stuck that that's what it is, it could be higher. But with that, to make up the deficit and the shortfall, there is a cost increase coming, so that we don't run into this problem again. They should have been doing incremental increases over time for inflation, all that kind of stuff. That wasn't happening. So there's gonna be a catch-up period, and whether we do that over a real short period of time or 5-year period of time is kind of the question. They're proposing that we go with option number 3, which I think is 17% increase this next year, 15% the following year, and then I think after that it drops down to like 7 and then 5, 5, and 5. So I was kind of in favor of just biting the bullet and doing it and being done with it right out of the gate, but I was in the minority on that one. So anyway, they're still putting that budget together. Probably have more for you at the next meeting on that. It's just been, it's like a soap opera every time you go to that meeting, as far as what they continue to find, and how that was run by the previous manager is just about criminal. But
I mean, wouldn't they be subject to an audit every year also?
well, that was discussed too.
Yeah.
The audit that was being done was not the correct audit. The audit that was done was pretty superficial, didn't look at practices, things like that. And so that's obviously changed. How this went on as long as it did, I don't know.
It's crazy.
What's crazy is the previous project manager is now on the governor's 911 advisory council. So that's been a hot topic.
Why don't we write a letter to the governor's office?
That's being discussed at that level from that board for the.
Well, I think everybody in this boardroom would give you the power to sign on to that.
Yeah, I don't think we'd have any opposition to doing it. I think what they're concerned about is the legality of it, you know, and they're talking to lawyers about this stuff too. You know, if they come out and say this about this person,
Defamation,
even though they
yeah.
didn't do anything about it at the time, I don't really understand all the ins and outs of that, but they don't want to set themselves up for a suit either.
But we as a board could send something and there wouldn't be liability there.
Right.
So, I mean, consider that as an avenue, because I totally sign on. I've never liked the guy from the day they hired him.
Yeah, well, for good reason. There was obviously some pretty serious troubles.
So if WACA's running it, what if, does the C800 board, what's their role now?
Well, C800 board is still the executive board, and it's just like when the other guy was there, he's the project manager. WACA is the program manager for it. Project managers now, but it's not forever. They're saying they'll take it for a year, but they're not looking at long term. So either something has to change in the makeup of whether C800 stays its own group with its own executive board, or if it merges with something else, CCOM, or somehow becomes part of WACA, or what that is. I don't know yet.
What all services is C800 providing?
So C800 is basically the infrastructure for the 800 megahertz system for Clackamas County for the most part. It's a little hard to follow because you have Clackamas County Communications, you have Washington County Communications, you have the C800 group right in the middle of it that is mostly serving Clackamas County, but kind of blends into Washington County to a certain extent. And then different makeups of, you know, like here it's funded with user fees. So Estacada pays so much, Clackamas pays so much, on and on and on. Where CCOM is funded by user fees and by taxes, which that's a whole nother ball of wax there that when it comes to budget, how they're working right now. So there's a lot of discussion about whether C800 continues as it stands now or what exactly they're going to do.
Is it purely your radios, two-way radio communications?
It's communications, it's emergency communications.
Could we potentially build our own system, but still be able to talk to the other entities?
Not for any reasonable amount of money, no. We would have to buy out the infrastructure for it alone, which isn't even, it's cost prohibitive. The bulk of the budget for C800 is capital. I mean, there's some materials and services like fuel for generators, you know, maintenance, contract maintenance and stuff like that. But most of it is just capital, generators, towers, repeaters, microwaves, all that kind of stuff.
So Clackamas County went for a radio bond several years ago to build towers to cover the whole county. I mean, they got them all the way up the Clackamas River corridor now.
That's-
Is that
that's-
CCOM?
That's
Or
C800,
what? C800.
right? I don't know enough history about it to
Yeah.
take you beyond that.
They put one on Goat Mountain.
Yeah, there's still,
Yeah, because when I turn my radio on and I go to dispatch and I'm working as a officer there, I run like, where was the last tower I pinged? And it was Goat Mountain.
Yeah, they're on the Colton side on Go Mountain, they're on Day Hill, but they're also, I know they have at least one tower up the Clackamas River too. so
yeah,
people
the
that
one
drive
up
all the
two
way.
24 is the newest one, and I think they just recently turned that one on, and that's the one that actually helps us to Cata fire the most.
Which one is it?
The one up 224, the Clackamas River. It's taking care of the dead spots that used to exist there. So between that and there's another one up at, somewhere around Ski Bowl, that one also impacts us pretty significantly as well. And that's the one that goes down on a regular because of snowfall, wind and stuff like that. But yeah, it's basically, that's how we talk to each other and talk to other agencies. So yeah, budget was the big topic. I think that's the, not even the Reader's Digest version, but it was a long meeting, so I'll spare you the details.
Maybe that story's getting better.
It is getting better, yeah. It's getting better from the standpoint that you got the right people looking at it and making the corrections need to be made.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some gory details I can share with you outside of this meeting about how that budget was messed up.
It's crazy they were able to get away with that, no real auditing process.
For years, not just for a couple of years, but a
Yeah.
long time.
They weren't having audits, so.
They were, but they were very superficial.
Who's looking?
Yeah, they weren't looking for problems.
Okay. E6 City School Fire Board quarterly meetings.
I sent out that request, request of the city to the fire board where they would like to meet on a quarterly or maybe every 4 months. Meet between the city council, the fire board and the school board. And it's just a couple reps from each one of them. And they would like to talk about growth, city and district, and how each agency is tackling that. Since I talked to the city manager, I haven't heard back. I told him we were interested and would like to do it. And that's where it sits. The consensus I got back from this group was something we wanted to pursue.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, we can do like a rotating schedule.
We did that in Happy Valley years ago, and it was really good. Just like everybody was on board with everybody knew what everybody was doing.
I think if we move forward in a timely manner, the first one should probably be Matt and I, because we can get an insight in on the firehouse committee, subcommittee, an insight what the city and the school and all them are thinking, and that would be information that is gonna help make decisions with the firehouse subcommittee too, I would think. So,
Yeah, I'm not sure what their angle is with it. I mean, there's always some reason behind it, I think, but
hopefully it's just a sharing of information and that kind of thing.
Are we still doing the presentation at city council? I know Paul was at one of them, but.
That's what last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
I might have brought this up last meeting, but.
yeah, I was there in September, October,
Okay.
but
And
I think that's the last one that we were
Yeah.
at.
I
did you
made
give a
a,
presentation?
I just did presented basically my monthly report, like what I bring here. Talked about the MacGyver fire at the time. They're more willing to put us on the agenda and even put us at the beginning of the agenda if you just wanted to come in just to be able to talk about fire department stuff and not hang around for all the rest of the city
Yeah.
business, but.
I made an appearance a month ago just to make an appearance. I didn't make any comments.
And just for the record, Director McAdoo mentioned about Happy Valley. He was the fire chief of Happy Valley. So a lot of folks don't know that. So I just,
It's a long time ago.
yeah.
Okay. Number 7, staff committee reports. Chief O'Connor.
Moving right along. So we'll have chief's report in your packet. We had 119 calls for the month of February. including a small grass fire along the banks of Estacada Lake over here. Where crews actually used rope and rappelled down with a hose to put it out. Was a nice day, kind of like today, so they just took advantage more or less of the opportunity to do a little practice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Upcoming events, we got the annual Easter egg hunt, Saturday, April 8th, beginning at 10 a.m. and that's gonna be at the new football field. Annual award banquet is Saturday, the 29th of April, 6 p.m. And we are working on putting on an Independence Day fireworks show on July 4th at dusk. The Type 6 engine was delivered. I think everybody got a chance to come down and see that. when we got
That's a
here.
groove, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. I got to go for a ride.
we'll do a formal push-in
Nice.
ceremony for that, and we're still talking about how we're gonna put that together, but more to come.
We need a little step stool to get in it.
It is a step. And actually, I will defer to Chief Smith for an update on the Type 3 since he just got back.
Sure. Stand up. So last Monday, Tuesday, Christian and I flew to Boise, Idaho to go do a final inspection on our Type 3. It is just about all buttoned up. It's looking really good. There's a few problems that we found, so we didn't do the final check yet. There's some fixes that need to do. So best guesstimate was maybe another 2 weeks out is what they said. So once I know those repairs have been made and everything's operational, little things like a valve that didn't work all the way and some chargers that didn't work. So I got a little bit more direction. Once it's released from Boise, Idaho, it's delivered to Oregon via one of their drivers, their insurance. Once it's in Oregon, I said, what's the purpose? What are you gonna do with it now it's all complete? And Nick said that they do their own internal process to look the vehicle once over because things comes loose or they, something might need to be buttoned up or tightened up with the drive from Idaho to Oregon. And then it'll be delivered here. And then I'll know that date when it comes a little sooner. Then we'll have a little in service with Peace Fire when it's here. That's about it on that.
Pictures any different from?
Pitches are no different. No, they added a shelf while we were there. That's about all it's different. The tender in April, we're planning mid-April later, we're gonna do a pre-construction meeting with Hughes Fire. That's the one that's gonna be made in Pierce. So I will know more next month on that. Everything looks like it's on track. So.
We had an issue with Rescue 331, got the email about that. We thought we had a seized engine, which it was not the case. It should have a seized AC pump and bearing. So we got that taken care of. It's back in service. Sewer lines here in the building were plugged a couple weeks ago. I think that was about the same time that we had the issue with the rescue. So, when it rains, it pours. But that's all taken care of now. EMT recertification is due this May, so we have staff, they're working on getting that completed. Recruit Academy continues, 6 weekends completed so far. We just got done with ventilation on Saturday. We'll be back here this weekend for vehicle extrication. Day shift probationary firefighter James Heberly, who is right behind me. His probation continues, but he's completed his ALS skills and protocol testing to function as an independent paramedic and has also completed his driving operating skills tests. And let's see what else did I have. And our newest employee is Angel Todd back here in the corner, administrative assistant. I think everybody's probably met her by now. Also responsible for the owl sitting in front of you, so.
Did you bring it with you or? No?
Had a recent meeting with the city manager about discussion about possible collection of plan review fees via the city permitting process. This kind of falls in line with the SBC ideas that we were talking about a year ago or whatever it was. Where we would collect, well, the city would collect a percentage of the permit fees. They would keep an administrative piece for that, and then the rest would get turned over to the fire district. The school does that with their SDCs. That's kind of how that works for them, where the city collects it, takes their little piece, and then sends the rest back to them. To do that, they need a fee schedule created by the fire district, and then that needs to be adopted by the board. So you can look for that at the next meeting.
You want to see our Portland one?
I think I have it.
Okay, because
It's already
I could
have it.
easily forward it to you.
Right,
I mean, it's already established and vetted,
right.
so,
I think that was the first one that showed up in my email. So.
okay.
So more to come on that, more discussion in the next meeting.
So is that the fees only go to permit review or?
Plan review, inspections, re-inspections, that kind of stuff. It's just a matter of how in-depth we want to get with it. We can go all in with everything that we do for fire marshal duties for the city, or we can just keep it at certain fees, but it'll be up to this group to decide that.
But we can't, we have to allocate those funds that we can't say, set it aside for something like a new station, correct?
Oh, that's what I would like to see us do, is say that's gonna be station money.
Okay, I thought you said we couldn't do that when we
So
just.
that was.
That was
I think it's
SDC.
SDCs, this is a
This is not an
different.
SDC. This is basically plan review, correct? We're gonna do the
Right.
plan review for the fire and safety side.
We're already doing it, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, so then there's already, that already exists for the city. It's just we need to capture our piece of it.
yeah.
Because we're providing the service, we should be getting the fee for it. And the city offers this. It's kind of funny because we didn't go to them, they came to us with it, so.
So when you come and get your permit, like by building a house, for example, there'd be a certain amount allocated.
Right.
Not a system development. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then I've been sending out the Oregon legislative session proposed bills. The list is long. I believe there are over 50 bills in there that will affect fire district in some way, shape, or form, positive and negative, depending on your point of view in some cases. I doubt all of them are going to go through by any means, but nonetheless, definitely something to keep an eye on. And OFDDA and Oregon Fire Chiefs and all that, they keep sending that stuff to me, and I just keep sending it on if it looks like it's relevant. So something to keep an eye on. Over to finance officer.
Yes, so you all have an updated check log. There is one voided check, like I said before, and so I do have one check that I will need to get signatures on for that correction. But otherwise, finances are as presented.
So what did we pay $7,000 to Clackamas County for? Do you remember by chance?
Your CCOM.
Yeah, our dispatch fees.
Okay, that went to CCOM.
CCOM,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the 42,000 for the day wireless is just new radios, updates, or?
Yes, that was the radio, the large radio purchase.
That's a BK radio purchase off the ARPA and Blue grant.
Oh, okay,
Got to finalize the grant.
right. And then my other question is, Sean Stone, is he our medical director?
Position.
Because I
advisor,
had
yeah.
texted you while I was wondering.
Right.
I had a group of medical directors for Washington County and Multnomah County ask me.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Do we use them much?
We can't perform EMS duties without having him.
So like my paramedic license gives me the ability to work, but I have to work under a medical director's license to practice medicine,
Okay.
you know, because it's advanced life support. And so basically you have a director that's responsible for setting the scope of your work, basically.
So even if we never saw him, we still have to work under his license. He's been good for us. He's interactive. He communicates. He's been a good physician advisor. I've had some in the past that you just never hear from him. He's a better one.
You guys do case reviews sometime.
Yeah, he has, that's part of his contract. He has to film an interview with it.
Any public comments? Anybody raising their hand or who's on?
Pull that up so we can see who's on the call.
Yeah. Right.
There's no hands raising.
Okay. All right, I think we'll move on. More comments?
I've got a question, and maybe somebody in the room knows, or maybe Sarah knows, but on River Mill, what is that new development that they're doing there?
An RV park.
It's an RV park.
Yes.
Okay.
110 spots, I believe it is, something
Something like
like that.
that.
I went and got like 10 loads of gravel today, and I keep seeing it, I'm like,
They were supposed to be done with it by the end of November. They didn't exactly meet that.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got a question. It has to do with the engine. You know, when you emailed us saying that the engine was out, it got me thinking, when we, it was a couple years ago, been almost a couple years ago now, with Clackamas Fire was, presented us with a contract to do our vehicle maintenance. And we ended up going with Hughes, and I don't think we're paying a contract now to anybody, but how do you feel that that's going, piecing it out?
Seems to be working. That pretty much falls into the operations world as far as how that comes together, but Hughes has been pretty responsive. We've been using Cascade Automotive for the routine maintenance just down the street here. And then if neither one is available, or if it's something different, like we've used Hillsborough Diesel, you know, where they specialize in diesel engines, and they're very good. We've used True North a little bit. They're also another emergency apparatus manufacturer, but for the most part, Hughes seems to take care of it.
You've been able to get people to do the work then, okay?
Right. Yeah, we haven't struggled too much. Once in a while, you know, everything breaks at the same time, then it'll be a bit of a struggle to find enough help to make it happen, but it comes together. Tristan Hall does a little bit of work for us as well. He's one of our volunteers, and he'll come in and look at things, and sometimes he can fix it on the spot or say, yeah, it needs to go to a shop. So we've kind of developed our own system of how to make it work, and it seems to be working. The issue with the rescue and the season up, you know, the AC season up, thinking it was the engine, that was a huge thing where we're not real happy about that diagnosis for it. Saying the engine was seized and it was an AC unit. So we're having some discussions with them.
Thank you.
I got another couple of things I wanted to talk about. Since it was official motion to start it, since the chiefs moved in the district, I think we need to discontinue that weekly fuel allotment when he was driving back and forth. And that was a 6 months trial deal too. So I'd like to make a motion that we discontinue the weekly, 1 tank of fuel weekly for the chief. It's probably not using it now anyhow, so, but since it was a 6 months trial and it was a motion, I think it takes a motion to end that.
Okay.
So I'd make that motion that we end that, discontinue that 1 tank a week fuel allotment.
Yeah, means living in the district, yeah, second it.
I second it.
Works,
You.
works. 2 seconds.
Oh, you second
Yeah,
it?
that's okay.
I sometimes can't hear you.
Really?
Could you raise your voice a little bit more?
No.
Oh, okay.
Be quiet because the owl.
I need
Oh, yeah,
hearing
the
aids.
owl.
So if you can hear, Matt certainly could. So.
Yeah, I heard.
Did it?
I got a new one.
All right, so we got a motion on the table.
Q-tips.
Any other comments about it?
Q-tips.
I
Use
need hearing
Q-tips.
Hearing aid.
Okay, let's stay on task.
Okay.
We're gonna do a vote.
Okay.
Director McAdoo,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Director Miller, yes. Director Day,
Yes.
Director Silva,
Yes.
Oh, there's a yes.
And I have one other thing.
One other thing.
Okay. That flag that's outside the office, I know it's up 24 hours a day. It doesn't have a light on it. Past policy, the first one in the morning would put the flag out, and the last one out about 5 o'clock, something like that, would just set it inside the door. Because that's good flag etiquette. It's not supposed to be out at night unless it has a light on it.
Correct.
So I've been thinking about that for a month. Every time I come by at night, I'm driving by and I see it, and I say, whoops, the flag's out.
Why wouldn't we just add it to the duties of the, on duty shift? Where they come out at
Or
dark
just put a light on it.
or put a light on it, yeah.
Was the porch light on when you went by?
That's a good idea.
Porch light isn't shining actually on the flag.
Right, needs to be direct.
What we used to do, maybe the office girl, first one in, or the first chief officer in, put the flag out, going out at night at 5 o'clock. They used to take it down.
Do we still have a flagpole over here?
Yes,
We still do?
It's
We
got
do
a light.
flag
But it's
every day.
lit.
Yeah,
it's got a
but that's
light.
lit, so you can leave that.
Yeah.
Just put a light on that one and call it good.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's all I
that's
have.
all you got?
Yeah.
I got something I want to talk about. So, this May will be 29 years I've been at this fire district. I love this fire department, always have. I think, to me, it's being a volunteer for 25 years is the best hobby in the world. I'm blessed to be able to drive and ride in fire engines. Not many people in life get to do that, but I love this fire department. Back in November 2020, our public gave us clear direction on what to do. Operates with Clackamas and to put our fire department back together, and we formed a transition committee. Miller, you were on it. John, Dick, Tom. We had Jen King on that, and we,
Alan and
talking.
Cheryl
Cheryl, the last
Lashbrook,
were
they
there.
were very instrumental.
They were
They
a
were
big help,
probably the lead part of
Yeah.
it, you know,
put in a lot of time, a lot of effort,
7 days a week sometimes.
but we had lots of talks about what we wanted.
Yep.
And we hired Chief Abel to help get us there. And we hired Chief O'Connor. And I want to publicly say, and this is not coming from the president of the board, this is coming from Ken Oliver, that I 100% support Chief O'Connor and what he's doing for our fire district. I believe that our vision, I think we hit a home run with our fire department. I think we've done a pretty good job putting this thing back together. And I think he's doing a good job doing it, taking us that next step. We're not even 2 years old yet. We're toddlers still walking, trying to learn how to walk. And I think doing this SDAO thing is a good idea to have somebody come in and take a look at us. Look, if we're 85% pretty good at what we're doing, well, maybe with SDAO helping us, maybe we'll be 90% or 95%. We're not perfect. We're bucking the system in the United States on volunteerism. I don't know very many fire departments that have got a lot of volunteers. I mean, I look back and at the end of the last 5 years of Estacada Fire before we handed the keys to Clackamas, we had volunteerism dropping. I'd been there 25 years and La Medica was 9 years, so we'd lost 16 years with the volunteers in that last management.
It was management, upper management that caused that.
Today, you know, seen us go through an embezzlement. I've seen us be mismanaged. The LoSAP program over a 12-year period got mismanaged by, there was no 8-year period, got mismanaged by $160,000. You know, it wasn't good. I got lied to by management. I got unfairly disciplined by management back then. To me, this is what we dreamed about. If we were going to start a fire department, this is what I was looking at. We're doing it. We're doing a great job. I know we got a little bit of division on the board about Chief O'Connor. Maybe we'll get all that sorted out here soon. I'm here to support our chief. I think he's doing a great job. So just wanted to say that publicly.
Said it very well.
Thank you.
Not that I was evaluating you,
Okay,
but that was well said.
you gonna send me a scorecard? Anyway, just wanted to say that. Okay. Next, do you have any correspondence, Chief?
No correspondence.
Community items, anything?
I covered that in the chief's report.
Okay,
Upcoming events.
so we have an executive session that we're going to do. Does this system work really good for those? Is it any different?
We would turn this off for
Turn
this.
this
We don't
off.
have anybody on there for Zoom, so we'll
Okay.
pause it.
All right, cool. Okay, this executive session is per ORS 192.660 2D to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations. Okay,
So are we gonna go to the station or is everybody?
everybody else is gonna leave.
Yeah, we'll just stay here.
Wow. Didn't even consider, man.
That's what we did last time.
I just want,
We're gonna-
on the record, I'm not kicking any of you out of here. He is.
We're gonna close this regular business meeting for now.
Minutes, Ken, or should I give him that?
Give it to the chief.
What's
I
that?
don't know, I guess we got to do something with it. Okay, I might take a few, put it in your notes up there too.
Okay. Make sure you initial your notes.
Okay.
Don't mind.
All right.
We can get a bottle out of the fridge, keep it in there.
I try my best.
Yeah,
I know. How's your family?
Good.
Good. Flowers starting to come up. Saw the
The
tapes.
deer been out there eating.
Oh, no. Got repellent now?
Huh?
Got repellent for it or?
My wife's had it too.
You know, the deer might be tasty. When I was growing all the peas and oats and everything up in George, all my neighbors like, man, the deer taste really good this year. I said, yeah, you can thank me because they're in my fields eating it.
I shot a deer on my place. Big old buck. Nice big buck. Biggest one I've ever killed over here. And then I got to it, I'm like, what in the hell did I do that for?
Because you have meat.
Well, yeah, I go over east to kill their deer. I don't want to kill them. That was the only time I ever did.
Do you have to resume the meeting or is it already in there?
When I lived on the golf course property over here, Dowdy and Folsom, when we first moved out here in 1990, they did a little
Oh, yeah.
archery hunting back in the woods.
Yeah.
Never shot one.
We used to go duck hunting in the
Yeah.
winter.
Mm. Yeah. You know why he wanted to go get everybody?
Cigarette.
So we could have a cigarette. We should all ask him when he comes in, how a cigarette.
How was the marble?
Yeah.
I know you were waiting for me,
How
right?
was your cigarette?
Whoa,
So aggressive.
did you fib up?
No, I was the one who brought it up. So you know the reason why
He
Matthew
knows
wanted to
you.
go get everybody. Yeah.
I concurred with him.
You smoked at a period in your life.
It's been a long time. I was 39 years old when I quit.
49 when I-
1982.
I didn't quit till I was 29 in 1989. So if you want to do the math, how much older you are, then you can do that.
Oh,
Oh, that's,
words like ancient come.
I wasn't born yet.
that is rude.
Born yet?
That is rude, isn't it?
Not
Most of our
1989,
employees are.
When were you born?
You guys could learn something from me.
I was a paramedic in '89.
You know what they say, John? Any attention is better than no attention at all.
That's right, yeah.
It's all out of
Thank
love.
you.
It's all out of
Thank
love.
It's all out of love.
Yeah.
Okay. So we, ready to hit it?
Yep.
Okay, regular session second session. Our next meeting is regular Board of Directors meeting will be held on April 20th, 2023 at 6:00 PM. If there's nothing else, we're gonna adjourn.
Oh, you guys are the last to leave the room.
Yeah, that's right.
You guys